Hi guys, it's Lexi. Welcome back to my channel. I'm smiling so much because I actually was not going to film this video. I'm kind of scoot closer, but maybe the reason why it's a little hard is because God is telling me that y'all don't want to see me too close. Y'all know that Dote was the hottest app in 2018. I had Dote. I loved Dote. It was my freshman year when Dote was like a big thing, and I was on Dote like every second of the day. Like Dote was everything. To be like a Dote girl, I wanted to be like invited on these trips to Fiji. Dote was that brand where it was so cool, and you could basically shop just like you can on Revolve for a bunch of different brands. So the brands that I had specifically liked on Dote were like PacSun and Urban and like all of these brands, like Aerie. Like I remember like having like my loves, and like that would be the only thing that popped up, and you had like Dote exclusive like discounts, you know. And they obviously had the Dote ambassadors on Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. Very similar to Revolve, right? Sounds very familiar, right? And Dote was that thing where like everybody was on it, and everybody had the app, everybody wanted to be a Dote girl, and very like much of a hierarchy, like if you're like a Dote girl and like if you're like the cover of Dote. And at the time it was like Emma Chamberlain, Hannah Maloche, Ellie Thuman, Summer McKeen, Ava Jules. Like these were the big Dote creators. Notice how none of them are minorities. Well, Ava Jules, she's what's it called? I think she's a Pacific Islander, yeah. But the rest of them were white. And so Dote was not very inclusive on their races. Even on trips, you saw on Dote trips that the influencers that got invited, the ones who had more followers and the ones who were not a person of color were treated better. And that is what caused the downfall of Dote. People realized how bad this company was and how bad their trips were and how not inclusive their trips were, that people wanted to cancel Dote all in all. This past weekend was Coachella and also the Revolve Festival. If you guys don't know what Coachella is, it's a big music festival every single year in Indio, California. It's kind of like the Met Gala but for influencers. Like it's like who's the best dressed. But I do think that Revolve has changed the way people feel about Coachella and dressing, and I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, so that's Coachella. And then Revolve has their own festival, and they've been doing this for years, where it's during the exact same time. And typically I think the Revolve Festival is like all day, and in the years prior to this year, people have gone to both the Revolve and Coachella. But this year I literally only saw people at Revolve. Like people were not going to Coachella at all, which I thought was like really crazy, because I was like, if I'm flying all the way to LA, like I'm not just going to Revolve, I'm going to Coachella too. People, like, had these brands that were very like, I don't want to say inclusive, but like very kind of affordable and like kind of had a younger demographic, like Aerie, PacSun, like all these places that like I would assume like super young teenagers to shop at, not necessarily like 25-year-olds to 30-year-olds. Whereas Revolve, they have brands and they have designers. Like one of my favorite designers on Revolve is Meow. I love Meow. I actually have my top from Meow literally right here. It's inside out, but I love Meow. Alexander Wang is on Revolve. Like there's so many different brands on Revolve that are household names, versus like Dote, it was still household names, but it definitely catered to younger people, whereas Revolve, it caters to people who you can be young, but it's like a lot of money. It's very, very expensive. So I actually follow a lot of influencers that were invited to the Revolve Festival, and I've heard two like sides of the story. So there were influencers that were invited by Revolve, and they were allowed to stay in the Revolve hotel, and everything was paid for, and they got sent clothes, basically treated like a queen, you know? And then there were other influencers who Revolve was like, okay, if you want to come, like you need to spend $2,000 on our clothes, and you're gonna post like, I think it was 20 posts. So depending on how much you're pricing yourself, that's not a lot of money that you're making as an influencer. But you see so many influencers who are like, I'm going to this festival, like I don't care that they're not paying me enough, I'm going to this festival because it's Revolve, okay? And then there are the other influencers where I watch a lot of influencers who are actually invited. I don't really want to like name grab, but I watched a lot of influencers who are actually invited, and you can kind of tell the difference of experiences that the people who weren't paid for had and the people who were paid for had. When I watched the people that got paid for with Revolve, they literally got gift suites. Their hotel was insanely nice, and their experience just seemed to be so smooth and fun, and it just seemed like they were the top of the company. Clearly, the people who weren't invited, you know, had to find their way around and different things like this. This is obviously what I'm saying from an outsider's perspective. I was not going. I also do love Revolve, and I'm trying not to say too many bad things because when I get my followers on YouTube, I do want them to send me some clothes. But anyway, so there was a very big difference. And here's my issue when it comes to Revolve and why I think that a lot of people were not like happy with it. So there were influencers who were like, I don't care, I'm going. And like, I think it was either you had to spend $2,000 or like they gave you $2,000 credit of clothes, but you had to post like 50,000 things. And then I think the people who were like invited were like paid for and sent the clothes with like no, like, I don't know. But it was something like, there was a distinct difference. But my point is this. My issue with that is it becomes a hierarchy thing, and I definitely think that you can see the hierarchy in different companies, and I think that Revolve is starting to be one of those companies where you can see the hierarchy in influencers.
Let's talk about Revolve Festival. Only making this video because I already uploaded my sponsored posts for the event before I went there. I don't feel like I can leave those videos up in good conscience and advertise a company that I don't support anymore. A few weeks ago, I signed on to go to Revolve Festival. They offered me $2,000 in website credit, not from the whole website, only from their approved list of a few things, to VIP wristbands. I picked up our wristbands 3 or 4 days before the festival, and then come Saturday morning, I went to the festival on time. They told us to get there at noon, I got there about 12:15. The headliners didn't go on until 7 p.m. I had gotten there maybe an hour later. I don't think I would have gotten in at all. I waited about 2 hours for a shuttle. This was the line behind me. This was not a line of people that just thought they were influencers. Everyone was promised VIP wristbands. It became very clear that that is not what we got. I have no problem being a normal person. I bought my own GA wristband at the festival and I had an incredible time. Safe, I felt comfortable, I felt valued by Coachella. That was not the case at Revolve Fest. I wouldn't have had a problem with not being VIP if I hadn't agreed to that in my contract. So after about 2.5 hours of waiting in the burning sun, about 90 degrees, and there was no water, 2 members of staff for the whole thing, I finally made it inside the festival. 100% amazing content opportunities, and there was free drinks. 1 tiny slice of pizza per person, and that was it. There was also basically no shade. Maybe tiny little areas for people to sit in. All of the real shaded areas were for real VIPs, like Timothy Chalamet. Best way I can describe it is I felt like a cattle, and I was on a content farm. This is now also when I want to touch on this screenshot. This is from someone that works at Revolve. I think this screenshot speaks volumes to the culture of what Revolve values. That's why I'm making this video. So I've come to terms with the fact that Revolve will probably never work with me again after this, but I'm hoping that by speaking out, and all of the other influencers that were treated this way this weekend speak out, maybe the culture at Revolve might actually change, because influencer marketing makes up 70% of their revenue. So please, Revolve, do better.
I know that Revolve is running, like, literally drowning in money. Like, they're making a lot of revenue every single year. I mean, every single influencer I follow, they're posting Revolve 5 times. Like, 5 times a day. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, if you don't know what Revolve is, I'm telling you, you know it now. Like, your grandparents probably know about Revolve and they don't even have Instagram. Like, that's how much they're getting influencers to post about it. And I think that the biggest issue is that there is a hierarchy when it comes to these brands. And I'm not saying that these brands should follow, or not follow, but pay for every single person to stay at their hotel. But I do think that when you have these like hierarchies, that it creates cliques. And that's what people do not like. And unfortunately, I've seen so many influencers social climb their way up to be able to be invited by Revolve, or to be able to stay at the Revolve hotel, and they'll make sure that they're friends with this person to be to get that person, which makes it even worse. And the biggest issue that people had wasn't even the hierarchy thing. I feel like people are starting to realize that with Revolve, but I don't think that they're clicking that it was literally almost the exact same thing with dote. Dote on the trips, you know, there were certain influencers who were prioritized over other influencers, and when they were taking pictures of these influencers, you know, it would only take pictures of certain influencers, the ones with the most Instagram followers, which, like, yes, in a marketing way, like, that makes sense. Like, you want to get the person with the most Instagram followers to be on their account, but at least take pictures of everybody to make everyone feel included, you know? here's my issue when it comes to everything. Here's a takeaway. Number one, I think that Revolve and like these sponsored events takes away the creativity of these influencers. I feel like these influencers are so like, they're so pressured to like buy everything from Revolve, which obviously means they're getting paid to do it. But like, I didn't see a lot of creativity this year. It was like literally like, I am going and this is work. And like, by all means make that money, sis. But like, I feel like these influencer events, like these Revolve festivals, even when dote was a thing, it takes away from the creativity of Coachella. Like there were influencers that I literally thought were gonna kill it because they've killed it in the past, but as soon as they got that sponsorship, they're like, all right, like I'm just here for work, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it removes the creativity of Coachella, and it removes like the specialness of it too. I feel like people used to actually go for music and for the crazy looks, and now I think people are just going for like, to say that they went, 1, 2, to get their check, which I don't blame you, and then 3, it's like I said, to say that they went. There are cons within every single company, and I think that as a company, you know, they have to look at themselves and be like, okay, how can we improve? You know, of course there's gonna be people that are gonna moan and complain, like, you know what I'm saying, no matter what. But I feel like with some of the issues that I heard about on Revolve, it's like, sometimes you have to look at yourself as a company and learn how to be like, okay, I can do better. I have a bigger budget. That's my spiel on it. I don't do commentary. I just wanted to make a video about Coachella so bad because I was actually gonna do like best dress at Coachella, but I did not see anybody that was worth the video. And that is so mean. But I'm just being honest, you guys. Everybody like was really relaxed this year for Coachella, which do you, but it just, I feel like this year the creativity was absolutely like just taken out because of all of these sponsored content, like just everything, you know. That's my video. I love you guys. Jesus loves you more. Bye.